AEI. You always adapt, evolve, and innovate. If you're not AEI, adapting, evolving, innovating daily, you're going to go extinct. Adapt. We'll take it to the 3 steps. You adapt because the world we live in, this is the new business. I don't care what's going on in Harvard. I'm sure there is levels above my. But this is how I survive in the new world. In the world that I've seen evolve from. Needless to say, I've seen things change from way back in 1998, 1995 to the way things are done now in 2017. Okay, yeah, right. AEI. I had to adapt to what was going on, the changes that were happening around. As I went into the eBay business. I mean, right when I seen what happened, when my friend bought a radio for me that I was taking out of my car and I no longer needed it. And back then, when you didn't need something, you just, you could sell it to someone you knew for a little, $20 or whatever, or maybe you could pawn it for something. But those were your options, or you just keep it. But anyways, it was an old factory radio, so who would have thought? I mean, who would have thought? Yeah, I know now that sounds crazy, but back then, people, unless you're like a radio head, you didn't even think about it. So I took it out, and he's like, what are you going to do with your factory radio? And I said, well, you can have it. Or I gave it to him for $25. And he came back like a week later, and he was like, I sold your radio for $150 on eBay, 1999. Right then, a bulb went off in my head, and that was it. And I was like, man, this guy just sold that in 1 week. He made $150 for a little simple listing from his house, and he's going to ship it off. This is crazy. It means you can work from your house, potentially. And I know a place where I could get 100 items right now. Because at the time, yes, in 1998, I was a thrift shopper. I thrifted. People did not go to thrift stores back then. Most people didn't even know they existed. And the people who did, they were people who were poor usually. There was a very small group of people back then who thrifted. Personally, I went to the thrift shop because I bought all kinds of cool stuff. That's why I went. Mainly, I would buy just whatever I found. I bought footballs and basketballs, and I bought baseball bats and sporting goods, obviously, because I was a kid, It shows my age. You know what I'm saying? I was buying that stuff. That's what I was buying. Tennis rackets and tennis balls. I bought all that stuff. And then just whatever cool that I would find. I bought silverware besides in bowls and plates for my house. And when I would see a cool old appliance that I needed, I would buy it. Well, I was 18, 19 thrifting, is my point. That's how long I've been thrifting, and the only reason that I was thrifting back then, and during this time, no one was thrifting. And then a few years went by, 5 years went by, my business began to grow tremendously, and other resellers in Houston, which there was 5 maybe in a whole area. And I knew them because it was a very small community back then. And the rest of society basically looked down on all of us because of what we were doing. They thought it was wrong some way, or they thought we were, the scourge of the earth. And like I was saying way back then, this is recycling, man. This is saving the planet. They're out there. My whole point is, I don't really feel like that I want to spend my time personally making haul videos for people. Because I feel like there's a plethora of haul videos to choose from. And honestly, I'm not going to bring anything new. Yes, of course, I'm going to bring little nuggets of wisdom along the way here and there as I do thrift store hauls. But for me, I'd rather just put together some solid information, some great tactics, some sort of system that you can apply, some sort of methodology that has served me well for my years in the game. But AEI, adapt to your surroundings and what's going on around you, whether you live here, whether you live there, whether you got parents, whether you don't, whether you're rich, whatever it is. Adapt to your environment. Adapt to your surroundings. See what you can do where you're at. Adapt. Because we all have a reach, 360-degree reach in our lives. And the thing is, the secret is a secret. It is secret. It's not. People just don't see. But your reach is much further than you think. You can reach much further than you think within 360 degrees around you. It just sometimes takes more effort to reach further. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? The further out you go, the bigger that circle becomes and the more options available to you outside your own circle. Adapt to your surroundings. Do what you can do around you. Talk to those who you have influence over in your circle. Reach up to those who are higher than you in your circle and see what you can do for them. See how you can help them, just to get around those people, just to rub up against them. Because what's going to happen is some of their success is going to rub off on you. Some of their good things are going to rub off on you. If you're earnestly, that's why you're there.
Right.
That's why you're there, to learn and to grow. But adapt. And those are ways to adapt to what's going on around you. Those are specific ways to adapt. Reach out, see what you can do. In other words, look in your own backyard. These are for the reseller community. I make these for the reseller community, and they might very well be abstract in their descriptions, because sometimes it's more, because this is a social thing now. The world is changing into a social network instead of just a business network. The social is beginning to be the business. And it's a weird change. It's a weird transition that's going on right now. And this is what I'm saying. See, I am adapting. You must adapt to your surroundings. Then you have to change yourself. You have to change to fit into the surroundings. Exactly. Like puzzle pieces. You can do business with old Johnny over there, but guess what? You're going to have to do business his way, or he's not going to do business with you, which means maybe you get a lesser percent, which means maybe you got to do the work. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that the guy? Is he the guy? Is he the guy that can fill in the blank, do whatever that thing is? Is he the guy that could help you maybe in some way, in some small way, which could be a large way? Or is he the guy that could help you in a big way if you really wanted to? So doing a small business with him and giving him the most up front, in other words, it will help you down the line. When you do the thing with him, he gets the big payday, you get the small payday, you do all the grunt work, you shake hands at the end of the day, and you say, man, thanks, Johnny. You're the man. I appreciate it, man. I'm so glad to be able to work with you and glean a little bit of your work ethic and your work style. And I took this away and I took that away, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to do it better. And then the next time you see old Johnny, guess what? He says, hey, my man, you did that deal with me. I remember you, man. And then he talked me all up, told me how awesome I was, and how you doing, man? And then he says, hey, man, you know what? I got this deal, man. I got this guy, man. I know this guy. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell him about you, man. You expect the call, because I'm going to holler at homeboy, and I'm going to tell him to send him your way. See? Because you did that deal 6 months before, or a year before. But see? You just put it out there. In other words, that's how business is being done now. Goodwill first. That's what it's all about now. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what's happening. It's so crazy. Because the world was going to shit for so long. Now in the business world, it's all about, how can I help you? How can I help you, brother? That's business to business right now. That's how businesses are treating each other. That's how businesses are treating customers, consumers. The businesses that are winning. The businesses that are on the cutting edge. You must adapt to your surroundings. You must evolve or die. You must change. And then you must innovate. After you've adapted, once you've evolved, you're bigger, you're better, you're stronger, you're faster. Then you innovate. Because you've got the tools at that point. You've adapted yourself. You've adapted to your surroundings. Then you've changed yourself to slaughter your surroundings. In other words, to take advantage of your surroundings, to kill it over here, to kill that deal. And now you innovate. Now you go into whatever it is you're doing, into your industry, into whatever it is that you want to do, and you innovate that. You know what I'm saying? Innovate it in some way. In other words, add something to it. You know what I'm saying? It takes something away from it, maybe. And you say, hey, guess what, guys? Now, I know y'all been doing this. People have been doing this for, these last few years. But guess what? I found a way to take this completely out of the equation. I have innovated this industry now. I've eliminated that completely, which eliminates the price, which eliminates the time, which eliminates the maintenance. And if you can't see that far, which a lot of you will not see it like that. And that's, after you've been in, a lot of you guys, I know you do understand what I'm saying, and I know you do. Probably the biggest portion of you do, but some people aren't going to understand. Okay, so what if I can't, do it, innovate differently? I can't, I'm struggling just to maintain, what I'm saying? Just to make $1,000 this month, So, okay, in that, what I would say is, it still applies. It still applies. You need to innovate in your business, right in your surroundings. In other words, you only have time. First, you need to time. You see what you're doing in a day, and then find out, in other words, how much time that you're wasting, or that you're, just bullcorning in a way, some way. And I'm not judging. I'm just saying, just to find out how much time you really have that you could devote to this business. first of all, and then when you put that time in, maybe it's an hour a day, and you put in your first 5 hours. Well, during that 5 hours is 5 days. During those 5 days, what you want to try to do is by the end of the week, I want you to look back over, because you need to document what you're doing. In other words, how much progress you're making. In other words, how many each day, how many emails, how many listings, how much shipping did you do? Did you clean the place? Did you reorganize? Did you build some new shelving? I mean, fill in the blank. But you need to be accountable for everything that you're doing in one given day. And then look at it and go over it and sort of study the times. And, after a week, you should, looking at them all together, you should be able to see where you could innovate somewhere. In other words, where you could make something faster, or you will see. And as a matter of fact, when you do this, you will see ways that you can improve. In other words, innovation is improvement. It's improving on an existing way or process. You're just, in other words, you can do it faster. You can do it, better. In other words, you might do it a little slower, but it would reap more money at the end. It could be anything, and it could be anything. It could be thousands and thousands of ways to innovate in this business for your particular life. Because that's the thing. You can't give hard, fast business rules to, stay-at-home moms, or, young college hustlers, because the rules don't apply the same. In other words, the guy in, college hustler, and then stay-at-home mom hustler, they got two total different worlds they live in. So you've got to innovate in your world, in your circle. You know what I'm saying? You've adapted to your circle, to your environment, to, what you can reach, and you've evolved. Now you're bigger, you're stronger, you're faster. In other words, how did you learn this business? Your evolution, in other words, if this is applied to, reselling, but it can't apply to anything. But as far as reselling, like a stay-at-home mom or a college, student, then your evolution would occur in front of your telephone each day when you're watching YouTube videos, when you're watching these how-to videos. You're evolving, you're learning. Because as you learn, you become, you evolve. And this is a thought process. It's not like you're going to physically evolve. You're just going to evolve. You're going to change. In other words, the next time you go out, you're going to do something different because you're going to pick that up because you didn't know about it before. You didn't know those were worth money before. Instead of going to the thrift shop and, instead of going to one thrift shop and spending 20 minutes or 5 minutes and hitting 15 thrift shops, you're going to go to one thrift shop and spend 4 hours. See, that's how your evolution will occur in many different ways. However, like I said, however your life is, that's how it's going to occur. But there will be an evolution. You will have to change, in other words, the way you do things from one day to the next if necessary. In other words, the faster you can evolve, the better. In other words, when you see a mistake or you see something that's not working, change it, try something else, flip it, lower it, raise the price, lower the price, take different pictures, whatever. Try something. Just evolve until you find that thing that works. Because you will find that thing that works. And when you hit it, when you stick it, bam, stick it and quit it. Once you got it, you don't have to change it. You don't have to evolve that thing anymore. But you will continue to evolve in different ways. And you will begin to, like I said, you will begin to evolve your business once you build a business worthy of the next evolution. But right now, you got to think of your business like an amoeba, like a sea slug, you know what I'm saying? Just coming up from the water like a single cell organism, and you want to take it to a 2-cell, and then, you want to increase its capacity, you know what I'm saying? Right. Because that's what a business is. It starts as nothing and it grows into, as big as you want it to be. And, I don't like to think of my business as a dragon. I would like to think of my business like a giant, factory, you know what I'm saying? Sort of. And, the stuff comes in this side, as sort of like just raw materials, and it comes out the other side, a product, a polished, clean product, valuable to society, shipped to all corners of the globe. And, everyone who gets something from this side, they're happy. In other words, my packages go out like all my packages could go out with bows and ribbons, because that's how much people look forward to receiving them. So I do a great service to the world. And what do I do? What do I do? What do I sell? What do we sell, people? We sell feelings, baby. That's what I sell. I sell feelings. I'm in the feeling business. So how can you put dollars and cents on feelings? How can you put a price tag on emotion and say, here's what happiness costs. Here's what self-esteem costs. Here's what, that smile on your face costs. Here's what it costs. Because a new shirt can do all the above. So when I sell somebody something, a new shirt, let's just say, in its simplest form, I sell someone a new shirt. He gets that shirt. He sees it online. He smiles and says, yeah, that's going to look good on me. He clicks the buy button. The next day it's at his house. Almost, because my shit gets there quick. But he gets it. He opens it up with excitement. Just in time for the weekend. Yeah. He opens it up, pulls it out, puts it on, looks in the mirror, smiles. Bam! And when he goes out, he's like, hey, you like my new shirt? Hi-ya! That's what you say. Right. That's what you say to your homies. Yeah. You don't say it to everyone else. Everyone else is like, oh, this man, it's my old shirt, man. I just grabbed it. I had to hurry up, man, so I just grabbed something. Right, exactly. See? The whole time. Smiling the whole time. That's what I sell. I can feel good selling that. But at the same time, how can you businessize that? I mean, I know that's not a word, but I'm just saying, how can you take a personal experience and turn it into business, right? The best companies in the world know that's what it all is. That's what it all is. Really? That's what eBay is. That's what it all is, man. That's what it all is. That new fridge you have to have? Yeah. Man, it's just to make you smile, just to make you feel better. Because you don't need that new fridge. The fridge you got is fine. But you want the stainless steel one. Fill in the blank. But fashion is extremely personal, right? Clothes make the man. The toaster doesn't make the man. The house doesn't make the man. The car doesn't make the man. The clothes make the man. That's the truth. Because when you put the clothes on, the clothes are you. The clothes that you wear are an outward expression of what's going on inside. And another way to say innovate, another way for innovate would be, in its simplistic form, innovate, innovation, the 2 to 10 principle. So it like in the end of the day, if you look at your business and you look at you've studied your weekly activities, and you don't see anywhere that you can innovate, nowhere that you can improve because you think you're kicking ass and taking names, which you're probably not, by the way. It means you should just dig a little better. You should have someone else look at your actions, and someone that you trust with like numbers and time and that kind of stuff. And maybe the person that who gets the most shit done, you should have them look at your day, look at your week, and say, hey man, is there any way you can think to innovate this? Bam. That's a killer tip right there. It's taking, in other words, the 2 to 10 principle is whenever you look at your surroundings, maybe your job. Okay, for instance, we're going to apply this straight to you guys, straight for resellers. So you're sitting at your desk and you're listing, and you look up at your desk and it's just piled with crap. You got stuff everywhere, and you've got clothes on you, because I'm assuming a lot of you guys are clothes sellers. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's shoes, maybe it's electronics. But anyways, they're piled everywhere, and, because they're used, and you get them in stacks over here, and, and your pencils, and everything's just very unorganized. Let's just say it that way. And so this is in its simplistic form. And you look at your desk. Clean your desk. Bam. That's innovation. Clean your desk. In other words, look at it and say, so let's say you clean your desk. So, right, obviously you want to have systems so that things work and things flow smoothly. Obviously you want things clean. That's common sense. But I'm saying way beyond that, the 2 to 10 principle applies. Okay, so now I've got everything clean. So I'm working, and today was okay at work, but if I could do one thing to make, in other words, first ask yourself the question, how do I rate this work environment on a scale from 1 to 10? And say it's a 5. Maybe it's a 6. And then, then ask yourself the question, well, what could I do right now to make it a 6? Because when you ask your brain a question, it will go to work on the answer. That's the secret right here. People don't understand. People never ask themselves a question audibly. But when you ask yourself a question audibly, then your brain hears it, and it has no choice, because the brain is just a brain, just another organ to be used at your leisure. But the problem is our brain takes over and begins to run the show. And we don't even realize we're being controlled by the brain, which really has no common sense. It doesn't really have much of a feeling for other people. All it cares about is itself, and all it knows is what it wants. And all the brain wants, by the way, here's another freebie, guys, is to be comfortable. Period. In essence, all the brain does is, there's two sentences. The brain wants to move away from discomfort and towards comfort. Period. Like a robot, because it's just your brain. But when you ask your brain a question, it will answer. It will begin to go to work on the answer. So I would most likely guess that whenever you ask yourself, how could I bring this from a 5 to a 6? that your brain would give you an answer within 60 seconds, probably multiple answers. Within a few minutes, you're definitely going to have a few answers. Worst case scenario, if you're just a really slow thinker, you might come up with one answer. You know what I'm saying? But hey, one answer, bam, that's innovation, baby. Because if that takes it from a 5 to a 6, you just innovated. And what I'm saying here is this is innovation in its most simplistic form, because I know you guys, I'm talking way, way beneath your levels. But I'm just trying to, I believe that simplicity is best. And if you can explain something to a 12-year-old, I say this, you don't truly understand a subject until you can explain it to a 12-year-old. Period. Which gives you the upper hand, anybody knows. And like I say, man, it's a fight. It is a fight. It's not a fight of reseller against reseller, but it is a fight for survival.